If you want to participate, contact me at ordinarywomenpodcast@gmail.com. I'm sure you have great projects to brag about. You can also follow me and message me on Instagram at ordinarywomenpodcast, on Twitter at ordinarywomenpc, or on Facebook on the page Ordinary Women. Hello, welcome to Ordinary Women. Hello, Hannah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure.
It's such a pleasure for me too. So excited to hear about you. Can you start by presenting yourself a little bit?
Okay, yeah. So my name's Anna. I'm Spanish, but I've kind of grown up in a load of different places, which was like nice and interesting, but also, you know, when you're a teenager, already not sure of your identity, but having to, move around has been, a bit mind-blowing at times. And then I moved here. Here is the UK. For anyone listening from abroad. No, here's the UK, and I moved here for university and now work, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Can you tell us an unusual information?
Oh God, everything. I'm not sure I'm in the right podcast for ordinary women. I'm more like unusual women, unusual bodies. Yeah, one of my weirdest things, I guess, is like I'm double jointed. Have you ever seen my weird bendy arms?
No.
Wait, let me show you on radio.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This is very funny. What? How?
It looks like, just for anyone who can't see it looks like, you know, when you're playing around with your Barbie and you twist around her arms.
This is exactly that.
It looks exactly like that, yeah. So that's probably the weirdest thing about me.
So yeah, because we're talking about women, about being an ordinary woman, was there a moment in your life when you realized you are a woman?
Right, I had to think about this, because I remember you saying, you know, that's what the podcast's about, and thinking about my femininity. I guess I almost have two stories. One is like realizing I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And one is more the adulthood version of that. I guess one of my first times was I grew up in the Netherlands, and because I was growing so fast, you know, my dad would get me like a new bike every year sort of thing, or like every few years, I don't remember now. And I remember choosing a bike that was quite, you know, boyish. So it was like blue, like a mountainy bike. Even though we were in the Netherlands, I decided I wanted this super sporty bike. And you know, I just remember him like buying me little tassels on the side and like a ladybird bell and like pimping it, you know, basically making it look quite girly. And he offered to spray paint it, and I think it was all done with the best intention, but it made me think, oh, there's something that I need to do differently here. For whatever reason.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I need adaptations, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted to offer him some tassels and some... He's like, I'm okay. But yeah, I guess that was one of the first times that I realised, oh, maybe there's something a bit different here going on, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. And when you grew up, did you have any feminine role model?
Yeah, I guess... I identified the most with maybe my aunt. She's kind of like my cool aunt.
Oh.
I know, everyone should have one, I have to say. And she's like, she's really broken with the stereotypes in my family, my Catholic Spanish family growing up. The idea is it doesn't really matter what you do with yourself as long as you kind of get married, and, you know, like none of my grandparents finished school, let alone like university or anything. And then the women were really, really not expected to do anything, you know, at least the men had careers and stuff. And so I think that was passed down a little bit to, my parents' generation, so even my aunt. But she broke all the molds. She was like, you know, I'm a career woman and I'm gonna, you know, date this, you know, be with this person, this man that she's with, but not necessarily marry him. They never had kids. And so it's not about, you know, that I'm going to follow the footsteps of making those decisions. Yeah. It's just realising that you do have the decision. So she could have totally had kids and she'd still be my favourite aunt. It's not about that. I'm just saying, like, it was kind of nice, liberating to know that you didn't necessarily... You could at least question it. She always told me, like, you can pick it up, you know, should I get married? Should I have kids? Or should I do this? You can pick any sort of question up, look at it, examine it, and sometimes come back to the same conclusion society's come to, that, oh, it's going to be easier to do the conventional thing. But sometimes you know, come back round and think, actually,
knowing you have the choice
of
taking a different decisions. That's very cool. That's a very important role model to have. That's very nice.
Yeah. I didn't realise until I was kind of reflecting. I don't know if you had a similar thing, not necessarily someone, but maybe a moment when you realised that you could do that. You could be the lip gloss feminist, but equally you could be like the I don't shave feminist, or the, you know,
whoever. Yeah. I think I kind of had that quite late, to be honest. Growing up, I was really like, I don't want to be like the other girls, you know, like that. I think we almost all have, because it just internalized misogyny. And then that's also one reason why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to be like other girls, like other women, because the women I know are so cool. I want to be like them.
Like, you respect them. Yeah, that really grates me as well when I hear people who identify as women sometimes accidentally, and I know I've done it sometimes, saying things like, oh yeah, I'd rather have some male presence in the team, you know, when I'm in quite a female or woman identifying job, and yeah, sometimes they say, oh my god, we're gonna have so much drama, or when all our periods sync, I'm like, guys, that's literally like some of the most misogynistic things I've heard coming from ourselves. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, the best working experience were when I was working with women, because they tend to be a lot more thorough, reliable. Men tend to be like not working as hard.
I get what you mean. I wonder if sometimes it comes from a place of, you know, I wish we all had the same confidence that a lot of men in general get to have, in a way, because it's a historically male space, right? The working space. So then, I wonder if it comes with this overconfidence. Or sometimes a good confidence. You know, I can't tell, actually.
Yeah,
I can't decide which way. But then women make up for it. They're like,
exactly.
You know, we need to work a bit harder.
How did the lack of representation of women in society impacted you, if it did?
Yeah, I guess in the moment, as I was going through my teenagehood and childhood and stuff, I'm not sure that I was very aware of a lack of representation. But I think in hindsight, I've noticed it's probably made up a lot of my decisions, including, you know, the most ridiculous thing is, you know, choosing what to do with yourself at 17 years old. I think there's no way that it was completely informed, sort of unbiased by society. I remember really liking my dad's job. He works in the kind of space industry. But every time I visited him, and even though I did my work experience, you know, when it's like, take your kid to... go with your parent to work or whatever. I don't know what it was called. I really liked his job. You know, it was fascinating.
Seeing, it must be.
Like satellites and things like that. But I remember, you know, there was very few women, and the women that were there were often in more like caring roles, in a way, like taking care of the buildings, the community building where we had like the pool.
Oh wow.
I know, best childhood. No, but the more caring roles, you know, I got offered sweeties by the nice lady at reception. You know, my dad's secretary, she was the only secretary in the team, was a woman, and the engineers were all men. And I think, you know, it was never as decisive as I want to be an engineer and my dad telling me no. Do you know?
Completely. No.
There's no story like that. So, you know, you can say it's down to my decisions, but equally, I guess what we're doing here is thinking about where those decisions come from. And it's important to see that you need to see it to become it. So, not seeing many women in that industry, I think probably changed my mind. And I ended up becoming, you know, the profession my mum does. So, again, no one told me you have to be like your mum, but it kind of happens a little bit. And then I can only imagine, added to that, is the representation of women of colour or people who identify as women but might not look like a conventional woman. That's even harder, in a way, because
completely, because the lack of representation is
tenfold. So I do think, in a weird way, insidious. It's never like like a cool story I can tell about why I decided to do my line of work, but
And do you currently have a female role model?
You know, I don't think I have one in particular. I think a lot of the women, you know, you and my other female identifying friends, are really inspirational to me every day, because they make me kind of remember that I can do this, and
Yes.
you know, we've all survived this far, so yeah, it's like a bit of a journey. But then I guess more sort of inspiration, you know, like celebrity type role models. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which I talk about a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah, just watching Fleabag, listening to her interviews, she just reminds us all, or reminds me at least, to just be, you know, you can be super ordinary. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to be particularly anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Completely.
She has this quiet confidence about her, which again, you can have a loud confidence. There's nothing wrong with that, but she inspires me to be quietly confident. It's like, we don't have to have the same, we were talking about confidence earlier in the workplace.
Yeah.
We don't have to have the same confidence as men kind of stereotypically have. It can be our own, and I think she really, really owns that, because wow, she's done like super fascinating things, and she's humble in her way, assertive in her way. Yeah, she's really, really inspiring. And then another woman who really inspires me is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Yeah.
She's her feminism as well is strays a lot more from the classic white feminism that we've all been taught in school for whatever reason. And opens your horizons a lot more, and to men being feminists, and to feminism in the context of Nigeria and the different cities where she lives as well. So a few inspiring women. What about you? Have you
My grandma. Both my grandmas, actually, for sure. Like, they're both very strong women. Yeah, Gloria Steinem. I'm about to finish her memoir. It's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, and my friends. Honestly, all my friends are so inspiring and do so many cool stuffs. So, yeah.
Right, yeah. You sometimes don't have to go very far to find role models, which is nice.
Yeah. And I think also another one that I didn't mention, but Patti Smith. Again, she's absolutely amazing. Cool. All right. Enough talking about other people. Like, who?
No. That's all I do, is hide behind other people.
Yeah. But now is your time to shine.
Oh no.
And tell us about your project and yourself, the cool things that you do.
Well, I wish, I really want to start a podcast too, so I wish I had your kind of determination and just and jumping in the deep endness. I don't know what the adjective is, but
no idea.
Yeah, I walk around the pool quite a few times before deciding to maybe dip a toe. So this is inspiring me, to be honest, to do more and make it my own, because I'm someone who's always, I quite like being the cog. I don't know if I like it, but I often choose to be like a cog in the wheel. But I never really start my own projects. I like to find projects and I can just join them or participate in any way. But I guess when I was looking through what we might chat about today, I was thinking, what have I done for myself? But I guess I remember when lockdown started, we were all suddenly in our rooms, and even me as a psychologist, I wasn't actually going into the clinic or to the NHS, and I felt like quite a bit of a fraud. There was like all these people clapping, all these rainbows for the NHS staff. I was supposed to feel like a hero, but I knew I've got a lot of colleagues in the front line. I just felt kind of stuck. I'm sure a lot of us did.
Yeah.
And I don't normally speak up in meetings or whatever, but I just thought, you know what, I think we should do something for parents, particularly single parents, which tend to be single mothers. Some dads joined, so shout out to the dads as well. But I really thought about them. I really felt for them in that moment, because I was in lockdown alone, but I could only imagine an even trickier situation than mine. I couldn't help but think about people who had it trickier than me, which is a lot, because I was extremely privileged. But one of those groups of people that I could think of was, if I had a kid with me in this moment on my own. There's already so many worries as a mother. I can only imagine. I'm not a mother. But I can, and then there's like a killer, it's like the worst possible nightmare to wake up in. And so I decided, I work in mental health services, and I decided to kind of start a parent workshop thing. And I mean, it's always under the pretense of something mental health related. So it was about well-being in times of global uncertainty or something like that. But then, to be honest, once you start the group, all the mothers and fathers and parents I think they were just happy to connect. And it was 1 hour a week, I think, and only for like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. But the feedback we got at the end was, it was just so nice to have a bit of a normal hour where you could take time for yourself. You'd see some, especially toddlers, popping up in the screen. People were getting used to that. Yeah, they were getting used to it back then. They were like, oh, you know, some of these parents were really professional setup at home, and they weren't used to it. But yeah, it was nice to just kind of have that and realize that I could start something, even though it was still within my work hours. It wasn't like a huge project undertaking, you know. It's still my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But it was really, really nice, and I really felt like I owed them something, because for me they're the real heroes, you know, as well. Well, there's a lot of heroes out there, but yeah, the families that really kept the indoor space for their children and families as a real like safe and stimulating, and it's almost like they had to create a little world inside their home to make sure no one's deprived of anything. It's like a little hospital in there, because you couldn't quite take your children, you know, if they have a fever or anything. There was like a little hospital, little school, you know. I just saw them like creating a little, and so the minimum I could do was create almost like a little safe space for all the parents to chat. And not all of it was glamorous or anything, you know. A lot of parents were just there to kind of complain about their kids.
Oh yeah.
I was there for it. I was there. And they also, it just, some of the most touching moments was when people logged off early. So even though my ego was hurt, like, don't you want to hear the next slide I have for you? But because I would say something that made them realise, actually, you know, I do want to spend time with them and just kind of chill. They had been running around like mad, understandably, doing things instead of just being. And so I had a few moments like that where a few mothers were like, you know what, I'm going to log off and just spend time with the little one, just chilling out. I was like,
your job is done there. That's
great. I was
like,
so happy. It's, in the end, it was nothing. I say feedback as a psychologist, it's never like that thing you said, you know. I always feel really proud of something I told them about their life, and people never remember, honestly. The things they thank me for is like, oh, the time you complimented me, or told me to go relax, or told me it was fine even though I was 30 minutes late. You know, it's always something relationship building. They never care. I'm like, but I analysed you for so long. Didn't you love it?
You owe me.
Yeah.
When you started that project, how did you do it? Like, did you think about it a lot, or did you run into it immediately?
No, to be fair, I think it was just one step after the other. I mean, I was struggling to do much of anything at the time. I was just logging in 9 to 5, but really confused about the world around me and stuff. So no, it was literally just one step in front of the other. Like, you know, how do we advertise to parents, or what content should we do? Which in the end, the content didn't matter that much. If I had known, I wouldn't have spent so long. But because I felt like I owed them so much, you know, to kind of support them and thank them for what they were doing, I put in quite a lot of effort into places that I thought was going to be paramount. And asking for help, I asked for a lot of help from parents, in my colleagues who are parents, or looking at different resources, seeing if I could plagiarize anything. No, but it was just one step in front of the other. I don't think I had a really big concept, and then I let other factors kind of influence the parameters, like how long we had. I mean, at the time we thought we were going to be in lockdown for 8 weeks, so we're like, we'll do 8 weeks. And then we had to do a few more things like that. So I think what you've said is really important. Sometimes it's literally about just doing one thing,
just starting, and then the rest comes after.
And the more you do, the more you want to do. Which sounds contradictory. Like, the more I do, the more I'll get tired, or I won't have another place to go. But you just you're suddenly thinking. My mind goes like a million miles an hour as I'm designing one little part of it.
Completely.
I was just making the posters to like the flyers to kind of send by email, and then I was already thinking so many things. So it all came to me.
Cool. What would you say makes you very proud about that project?
I think it's more, you know, I wish I could say something selfless, like, oh, I helped people and stuff. But I think it was really helping me, because I had more of a purpose. I realised I could grow into, you know, the claps and the applaud for being an NHS worker. I thought I could never live up to it, but I realised I could just, exactly by one foot in front of the other, I kind of could just, make my own path and be like, okay, I am an NHS worker. I'm not what maybe some people are imagining, but I am, I can contribute and be myself. So I think it helped me. It gave me a sense of purpose and direction. I think that's why I'm proud of it, because it helped me push through. And by the third or fourth week, I was doing some of the things that I was preaching about, which I don't always do as a psychologist. I sometimes advise people.
Oh, yeah.
And things that I would never do. But I was doing literally everything that I was preaching about. I'm not sure the parents were. I think they were just there to have a chat and a coffee. But I was kind of proud of myself for just having started, having paved a way for myself, and also, doing some of the things, like I had a routine, a little bit of exercise, some time to call family, everything I was telling other people, I actually was applying to myself, which I think for once it made me slow down and give myself some love and compassion. So I think that's why I'm probably proudest. And some of the friends I made, I can't really keep in touch with them because they're NHS confidentiality. But especially one of the mums, we were really close by the end. So I guess that's why I'm proud.
That's cool. And so you say that you asked for help, you reached out to people. Was there anyone in particular that helped you?
Yeah, I think, my entire team in a way, they give feedback. They're very honest because we're there to help as much as possible. So none of the feedback is really trying to make me feel bad, but I do have to overcome that challenge when I get some criticism and stuff. And then my supervisor in particular, and one of my best friends who's also a psychologist, I think they helped me think a little bit about all the softer skill things. So basically, whenever I organise something, it's super content heavy. As I say, it doesn't matter in the end. They're just there to chat. But I was like, and the theory behind this and uncertainty and cognitions, and I went on a little bit of a intellectual rant, like you were saying, intellectualizing everything. And then my best friend and my supervisor helped me cut it down massively, so it was like 4 slides, nothing.
Oh, wow.
They're not there for a lecture. I was like, it's true, but I love lecturing. I've realized all the things I was doing for myself and that were coming from my own anxiety, because it was helping me understand the pandemic by making the material.
Right.
I was like, global uncertainty, and we're all in the same trauma for one, or all these theories were coming out. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And so I try to separate. I almost made myself a PowerPoint, and then I made the parents some materials. Those 2 figures were really helpful. In general, they remind me that it doesn't have to be highly intellectual with 100 references. It's not a thesis, and creating more spaces for others to talk, really. In the end, I did none of the talking. The parents talked for themselves. So just being reminded of that.
Yeah. And was there any challenge that you faced? Anything that was more difficult you didn't expect?
Right, I always forget. I should have known, but whenever I'm doing a group, they have a lot of opinions and advice for each other. And sometimes it's helpful because it's like, I can't say that to a parent.
Yeah.
Because I'm wearing a badge. But that parent can, if they want to. So sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's a bit painful. And I remember there was, most of the dads, just to be clear, were really, really helpful and supportive. But there was at one point a dad that was, I think he didn't mean to, but he's kind of invalidating all the mom's experiences. Because just saying like he's had it harder before than the pandemic, and I understand if that's his experience. He's actually gone through quite a bit of trauma before that. So I think he was just trying to remind himself, remind others that he's actually okay. But I think a lot of the conversations we were trying to have were more, not like super pessimistic or anything, but just that cathartic relief that everyone else is in it together and struggling, or just every now and then you have to say it kind of sucks, and so I think it was just, there was a bit of like a mismatch, but I was really proud of all the parents. I think they kind of came together to, it's almost like they knew who was being affected by this type of toxic positivity, we can call it that, which I get where he was coming from. Anyway, it was just, I guess the challenge was, managing all the different opinions, because you set out thinking, I'm a superhero and these parents are struggling, and there's only one type of parent I was thinking about. A single mum who's like needs a break. And no one was that mum or parent. Everyone was like, had loads of strengths and things. So it was just managing all the different opinions and experiences.
Well, that's so nice to hear about that project. Is there something else you want to tell about it?
I think that's it, honestly. Just that, I want to keep doing more.
That's very good to hear. Well, we are going towards the end of that podcast.
No, I don't want it to end.
Maybe we can just continue to chat.
Just go on forever.
Is there something you wanted to say as well that we didn't mention?
Not really. I guess I was just thinking as well. I guess a lot of times when I've felt kind of didn't really fit in because of my gender and all this, and even coming today, I was cycling in, which you know me, I'm always cycling. And yeah, it's just like that space I take up on the road, particularly in the cycle lane, that is literally like stay in your lane.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
For your safety, you should.
The literal version of that. And yeah, I was just thinking how I want more women to cycle, and that combined with talking about projects and things, that you kind of inspired me to do something more along those lines, because I often see a lot of men, and yeah, women are just treated a bit differently on the road as well. So yeah, I think it'd be cool to start something. You've kind of inspired me to start something
to
promote
good.
more cyclists, more female cyclists. So
well, thank you so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure to hear about all of this. Very inspiring. So thank you so much. And as the guest, you have the very last word.
I'd say, just take care of yourself. Stay well, everyone.